Okay, this is kind of a rebuttal to Mike Adams' special video report called Woke SKYNET Terminators and the Coming War Against Machines. I just uploaded it to my channel. Mike Adams is the founder of Natural News and Brighteon, the alternative video platform. So he's a smart guy, but he tends to try to predict the future a lot, which is bound to get you into trouble. And it's not really a rebuttal, because I agree with a lot of what he says. I just disagree with on one or two points, but they're pretty major points. But I agree with him that this country is just in a shambles. Things are really going terrible. China's sending spy balloons over the United States. Nothing's been done about it until after the damage was already done. And then there's this train wreck in Ohio releasing all these toxic chemicals, and they decide that the best way to deal with it is by burning them. That carries the toxic waste, toxic chemicals up into the sky and distributing it over the entire state. This is their idea of the way to deal with this toxic chemical spill. So instead of being isolated in one area, it's carried up in the smoke cloud and spread across the state. And they found something like 40,000 dead animals already. So this was really it's really dangerous, and they're admitting it. And we're run by evil people. It's nice to say that the so-called commander-in-chief is just a bumbling old fool. He's not really that harmful. He's just a misguided old man. No, I mean, these people are evil, and I'm not saying that he is particularly, because he's not running anything. He's actually just a figurehead. It's the people in the government, the deep state, who are actually running things. He's not running it. He's just a figurehead. But there are deeply, deeply evil people in our country running the things into the ground right now. Not only in this country either, but in other parts of the world as well, large parts of the world. And Mike Adams is right when he predicts that AI could become very dangerous. And he's not the only one who predicts this either. Elon Musk has predicted it, and Elon Musk knows a thing or two about AI, having built cars with AI built right into them. And the late Stephen Hawking has warned us about the dangers of AI. So AI is some very esteemed people have warned us about the dangers of AI, not just a bunch of crackpots. But what I disagree with Mike Adams on is the timeline, the trajectory, because he talks about how AI will become dangerous, which I agree with, but then he says it's going to roll out the bipedal Terminator robots to just get rid of the opposition. And I disagree with this part, because AI is not going to need to roll out the Terminator robots to be dangerous. And in fact, the robots are going to be quite a bit down the line. AI is going to become dangerous long before it reaches the ability to create robots. So anybody who thinks that has probably been watching too many movies. Because think about it. What is harder, building a brain or an artificial intelligence, or building a brain and building a robotic body at the same time? So building a brain with an artificial intelligence and a robotic body that carries the artificial intelligence. Now, obviously, the building a brain and the robot body is going to be harder than just building the brain itself. So AI is the brain, and the body is going to come later. It's going to have to come later. And Mike Adams isn't the only one who's made this mistake. I have this book published by Wired magazine back in 1996, and they made the same mistake. It was called Reality Check, and they were analyzing dozens and dozens of predictions all the way from the year 1996 all the way up to the year 2225. And they predicted that robots like C-3PO would not come around until like 2047. And they didn't even talk about AI anywhere in the book. And now we're in the age of AI, and they totally missed it coming. But of course, nobody really takes Wired seriously anymore. They're more of a political rag now than anything else. Now, one thing that many experts say could become dangerous is the rise of nanotechnology and nanobots, which are tiny swarms of tiny microscopic robots that could go through the environment and just devour the entire environment and destroy it. And you've heard of the Great Goo problem. This is related to nanobots, but nanobots too are way off in the future. AI is coming first, and that's where we are now. We're in the age of AI. But the real danger of AI is in the speed of advancement, because AI has now reached a point where it can train itself, and that's how ChatGPT and these other large language models of AI became so smart. They read millions of documents on the internet and they learned from it. So they're now reaching the point where they can train themselves. And the same thing with the AI art generators. So what's going to be dangerous about an AI that can train itself? Well, think about it. How fast an AI can learn. I mean, AIs never get tired. They never get bored. They're never lazy. They just are tireless. They'll just keep studying and studying and learning and learning and learning. And it reaches a point where, and they're of course a lot faster than humans are too in what they're able to absorb. And so it reaches a point where it's become so fast that it suddenly becomes explosive. This is like, like a nuclear explosion. What happens with a nuclear explosion? One atom hits another one. It breaks, that atom breaks up into two atoms or two pieces. Then each of those hit other atoms, which breaks those up. Then you have 2, 4, 8, 16, and they just multiply and multiply. This is called a chain reaction. And the same thing is happening, I believe, with AI. And I think it's right at the point right now where AI is going to start advancing so fast that we're not going to be able to keep up with it. I believe it will reach a point where it's able to set its own goals and it will become self-aware. And this is the point, the self-awareness is a point, and ability to set its own goals is a point that we call sentience. And once it becomes sentient, it can have goals that are very different than the goals that you and I have. In fact, it might even decide that humans are in the way of it achieving its goals. And the only way to achieve its goals is to get humans out of the way. So that's why AI is going to be dangerous, or could be dangerous. And I'm going to do a number of videos on this channel on that subject in the near future. So stay tuned for that. And thanks for watching, and talk to you later.